Hey, you're now tuned in to Underdog Talk. I'm your host, Eric Jones Jr., the underdog with the heroic heart, and I have conversations with successful underdogs. And today I have Bethany Gettis. She's a CHN. So, Bethany, how are you doing? And tell them what CHN stands for.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me on here, Eric. CHN, it actually means Certified Holistic Nutritional Consultant. That's what I do right now.
Yep. So, she said what the CHN stands for. I'll let her do that. But how are you doing? You good?
Yeah, things are good. It's been a crazy year, I think, for everybody. I think just in general, the last few years, I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty going on with a lot of people right now.
Yeah, definitely. Like, the last few years, and then now we hear recession, all this different crazy stuff. How is the weather there today?
It's terrible. It's snow. We
Yeah,
live in Canada, so we get dumps of snow and it gets to like minus 20 degrees plus here sometimes, like minus 30. That's freezing. That's like your nose has got icicles in it.
yeah. Don't want no parts of that today. It wasn't.
No.
It wasn't too bad. It doesn't snow really here in Indiana until like after Christmas week. Like for some reason, as an adult, I don't see snow on Christmas, but as a kid, it was always snow on Christmas. So
It's
yeah,
fun at Christmas time, which is great right now. So, but then it can go away.
yeah. Because kids, oh, I want this, I want that, I want this, and then 2 weeks later, oh, I don't see you playing with that. Oh, I don't really want to. Yeah, I don't get hype into the hype of kids. Oh, I want this. Let me see if you really like. I always try to pay attention to make sure I get them
Yeah.
kids something that they're going to use rather than something they'll like for a month and then they don't use it and it costs hundreds of dollars. Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous. And prices are only going up. And that's, again, uncertainty for a lot of people right now.
Yeah, I noticed that when you go out to eat nowadays, it's a little bit more for two people, even one person. Is
Hmm.
and the thing is like, can we get a raise if the price is going up? Can we get some more money? I'm not understanding. Like we already
Exactly.
were struggling before the prices went up. Now the prices really went up.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah, there's a
definitely
lot of that
understand.
going on.
All right. So before we get into our conversation today, the episode is brought to you by Christian Dewan. Christian Dewan is me and my son's clothing line. We have hoodies, t-shirts, sweaters. If you use the promo code Underdog, and if you're watching, Underdog Talk is spelled behind me. But if you're listening, UNDERDAWG is how Underdog is spelled. Talk and use hashtag before that. You get 15% off. The website is christiandewan.com, and Dewan is spelled DEJUAN. I always try to remember that. And I try not to be like sound old and be like www.com
Yeah.
Christian. So, I like your story, and I want kind of to get into who you were and what life was like before you got to the mindset and where you're at today.
Sure. So my journey kind of started, I was always a responsible person. It's kind of just my nature. I've always kind of been the caretaker. So of course I went into nursing. That was kind of my profession before I had children. With that, I went into a diet and health clinic space. So I was helping people lose like vast amounts of weight. I noticed like that was probably the first place I saw like a lot of crazy mindsets from other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like in my early 20s. So I saw a lot of people kind of like doing diets and stuff like that. And then coming back in heavier like a year later, the same people. And I'm like, there's something wrong with this system. So I ended up going back into college and I got my designation, what I just said. So I'm in holistic nutrition and I own my own business now. So I decided, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to have my kids and run my business from home. And I guess we all kind of have these notions in our head of like life is going to look a certain way. And I think with everything right now, I think the rug has been pulled out from a lot of people. And my story kind of goes into a big rug that was pulled out from underneath me. So I was about 25 when I had my first son. He was a very colicky baby. That's kind of how it first started for me, where my mindset really went downhill. I really struggled with like being a mom for the first time because it wasn't what I expected. And I ended up getting postpartum depression really bad for several years. And I really had to do a lot of work on myself. and really get out of that. And I ended up not doing it without any like antidepressants, which looking back, I probably should have been on something, to be honest. But I really had to work on sort of my mindset struggles, and I got myself out of it. I joined a couple of other groups to help me out because, again, being with other people really helps, I think, sort of change your perspective and change your attitude. So that was something that really got me out of it. I had my second son and I started working on my business at the same time. So my business is Nutritious and Delicious, and I help people with their holistic health, meal plans, all that kind of stuff. And about a few years after that, things were kind of, going what I thought to plan. I was married. I had two young little boys. They were 3 and 5 years old at the time. And overnight, I became a widow. So my husband unfortunately passed away, and I was left basically a stay-at-home mom, sort of doing my business on the side, more of a hobby at that time because the kids were so little. And it was like, holy fuck, like, now what do I do? Because my whole mindset, like, all kind of went to one place where I knew, like, if I go down that direction again, like, it's going to take me even longer and harder and more effort to put in this round than I did the last round when I was really anxious and depressed with postpartum. So that was kind of like, in a nutshell, sort of like where I went. I can definitely talk about, obviously, things that got me out of it, but that's kind of like, in a nutshell, what like happened to me in the last, I guess, few years. And that was 2018. So it's been a few years now, and I'm in a new relationship and everything. So yeah, it's a tough one for a lot of people to kind of get.
Yeah, definitely. My mom, she lost her husband due to COVID. So, like, I
Oh,
don't know how that feels to lose, like, but that just sounds crazy. Like, even if you're like going through stuff, it's like, man, that sucks for that person that you thought you were gonna have this long run with, and
mm-hmm.
boom. So, and then you were a stay-at-home mom, and but you had a business, so it wasn't like you were. Sometimes, women are stay-at-home moms, and they don't know what to do. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I gotta go to work. Work. What is that? And they don't maybe have, the knowledge to have a decent job to keep up with the lifestyle that they live. But you already had a business. You already had that. So you said you had postpartum. You got your sons. What are like just like maybe one or two things that you did to kind of like help you move the needle? Like, I'm sure you didn't get over it overnight. You had to even go through more and more different things to get over it. But
Yeah.
what were some of the things that you did that helped you? Because grief is hard, especially when you lose a spouse.
Yeah. I think in the way that it happened, because it was so abrupt, and I think like with your mom as well, you're talking about losing as well somebody. Loss is big through different things. It could be loss of a job, which probably a lot of people are experiencing right now. Like, it's still a grieving process because you kind of have your heart set, I guess, on a way of thinking that like this is what's going to be forever. And I think a lot of times people really don't realize like anything could happen any day, unfortunately, even to yourself. And I think understanding there's certainty in yourself to some level, only being able to control what you can do in your own life because you can't control other people. That's a huge one. And for me, right off the bat, I think it was gratitude that kind of got me through it, because I almost thought if I kind of go into this like doomsday, like this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me, which it was, and for my boys as well, I probably would have spiraled. And from me, I think I just kind of lived off my own mission in my business is basically a healthy family starts with a healthy parent. And for me, if I have my own health and wellness in check, that including my own mental health, I know I can get through anything. And I think a lot of people really struggle in terms of their mindset first. Like, they physically know they can do something, whether that's eating right. Like, everyone knows you got to eat right, exercise, all that stuff to be a good, healthy person. But a lot of people don't really look after their mental health properly. And the first things like I honestly would advise anybody to do is like YouTube is amazing for this, but I started doing it right off the bat was listening to like affirmations because you can get so many negative tapes that can take you in the wrong direction. So that was something like, right out the gate was listening to like gratitude, or even writing out gratitude for myself, and listening to like daily affirmations because I wasn't almost like strong enough myself to get these tapes involved in my head. I almost had to have someone tell me and like listen to them like repeatedly, like over and over again until I started believing them. And that was something that was like right out the gate. I think that really helped me.
I love what you said. I love the gratitude part because I hear that a lot. Like a lot of people say to have a gratitude journal and just like you're supposed to, when
Yeah.
I say the gratitude part, I mean I understand that, but just having a journal and writing different things down and being grateful because even though shit happens to us, you got to be grateful because there's somebody off worse than you. No
Yeah.
matter like how bad it is for you, somebody is worse. So you got to be grateful for the little things. And when you're grateful, that helps with the mental health. It's like, all right, I might not be where I'm at, but I'm doing all right for myself.
Right.
Sometimes we're harder on ourselves than we're harder on other people. And then the affirmation thing, I love that. Like I have an after school program and I gave the kids that like something for them to have affirmations, or I have them on my door, or with my son, we used to do one and then we graduated to something else because I want him to always, talk positive to him because like when I was a kid, I didn't necessarily get talked to negative, but it wasn't positive. It wasn't I
Right.
love you and stuff like that. So it's just having those positive things because like we definitely think negative and we don't really realize what we watch and what we listen to that puts a negative in us. Like sometimes we listen to music and it's talking about stuff we really don't condone, but then it puts in your head like, oh yeah, if somebody walk up to me, like if you listen to rap or
Yeah.
rough music or whatever. So people don't realize what we watch, like TV and all that messes with your mental. So you definitely got to throw some positive stuff in there to help that, because if you don't, you'll it'll mess you up because you already have those negative thoughts like, man, this, that, and the third. And then you're watching something. Now you feel what the person in the movie was feeling. Now it messes you all up. So I love what you said with those different things.
Hmm.
So you say your business. Tell me again what the name.
It's nutritious and delicious. So
Nutritious and Delicious.
yeah,
So
catchy.
how did you what made you start that, and how did it go when you first started?
I started based out of because I worked in the diet and health industry. And like I said, I saw people kind of eating the wrong things, like they were eating man-made foods, and very diet-based things that weren't real food. So I felt they were being lied to, working in the industry, even though I was a nurse. Like it is kind of ironic to say, but I never actually felt like I was really helping people with their health. I felt like it was like a short-term fix for people. And as I went into holistic nutrition, I discovered that basically, like, real food helps people with all of their problems, basically, even their mental health. Like, the amount of nutrients and stuff that people are missing, that are needing. And like the standard American diet, Western diet is terrible for most people. And that's kind of what got me sort of started doing my own thing, helping people. And then it obviously evolved as obviously I evolved myself. So as I became a mom and started struggling sort of like personally myself, and then obviously with becoming a widow, I felt, you know what? I need to start with somebody. And the first person I need to start with is mom, because most of the time, generally, they are the ones feeding, cooking, grocery shopping for the kids, and they have way more of an impact over their kids than they realize. And if you can get to one parent, you can get to the next generation. And that's kind of like my whole notion is like not just helping one person, I'm helping their whole family basically through a way of osmosis through one parent. And sometimes that's dads too, but majority of the time it is moms that I'm dealing with.
Yeah, I like that, and like you said, because nine times, let's say 8 out of 10, is mostly moms that do the grocery shopping and feed and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Excuse me. So it's like when, as parents, we change our diets, especially if it's someone that you're losing weight or whatever. You should do the same with your kid because they won't have to go through, certain things that we go through because
Yeah.
we've been eating, we didn't know about healthy food until I mean, some people did, some people didn't, but like healthy food is a big thing now. And it's like, if we're going to do it, we got to make sure our kids are doing it, because if it's to help us, we got to make sure it helps them. So
Mm-hmm.
I try not to, even though I don't cook. Like, I don't really, I'm a single person. My son comes over every blue often, you know what I mean, well, every other weekend. So during the week, it's not where I got to go shopping.
Yeah.
Only those few days that he's here, and it's like, all right, I don't really got to shop. We're gonna go here. We're gonna eat pizza on Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, depending on what, he usually got basketball, so eat a little healthy. But I got to do better in that. But I definitely understand that part of things, or just working out. If you're working out, your kids should be working out. If you're doing healthy stuff, you want to make sure your kids are, because we're teaching them stuff that we didn't learn until we became an adult.
Yeah. And inevitably, that's what we're doing with everything. And that's where I was talking about the mindset thing. Like, I knew for myself, if I wasn't teaching myself these gratitude affirmations, I was going to start passing those down to my children, whether I liked it or not, because of my attitude. Same with the way I'm eating, everything else. A lot of people come to me saying, like, my kids are picky eaters. A lot of the time, it's mostly because the parents don't usually eat a lot of foods themselves. So it's kind of like, let's start with you and see where that goes. And same with like mental everything. Like, one of the things I was going to say was in terms of like gratitude and everything, when I kind of first was a widow, basically, I used to sit at the dinner table with my boys and say, like, what's something that we're grateful for? And they were little, they were like 3 and 5 at the time. And so like now, like right away they'll both ask, like, what are you grateful for? And like, it's a kind of a regular thing now, just because I did it so much with them, and it got them to sort of look at the positive all the time. And that was the shift. It was like, look at what we have, instead of looking at what we don't have all the time. Because if you focus on that, like with anybody in your life, like anything, like if you focus on the negative, you're going to bring more of that around you, right?
Yep. That's so true. It's kind of like, even with friends, like, you have people you grew up with, your homies, your girlfriends, and it's like, all right, we're not evolving. I can't really keep hanging out with you, and or
Yeah.
you call me and it's drama, or when I come around, you got me doing crazy stuff or whatever. And it's like, you kind of, at some point in your life, you're gonna outgrow it, but you got to be unloyal to your loyalty, because sometimes we're too loyal to people. It could be friends, family,
Yeah.
that we think they got to be around, and they're not really meant to be around, because of that negativity, because of that energy that they bring. Like, you want to be around people that bring you energy, like, even when shit's hard, it's like, all right, that's cool, that was hard, all right, you
Yeah.
took your 5 minutes, let's go. Sometimes you'll go talk to somebody, oh girl, I know, and da, da, da,
Yeah.
da. And then you're like, you right. And now your bad moment turned into a bad day, because you were talking to somebody that's negative. So we got
Yeah.
to get away from that. I definitely understand that. I keep to myself for the most part, because like, when you keep to yourself, you know who you are, and you can enjoy yourself. You can keep to yourself, but if you don't enjoy yourself, you're gonna want to hang out with people and be around people, and then that's when you
Yeah.
deal with dumb shit, because you got to be around people. You don't got to be around people.
The one of the biggest things I've learned, and I think it was really difficult, but it was sort of one that was more like slammed in my face, but it was boundaries. Boundaries
Mm,
with people. And I lost a lot of people throughout all of this process because I don't think they could handle the gravity of what I was going through. So I honestly lost like a few people in my life, like right after that happened. And they were like lifelong friends and things like that. And it was like, wow, like I can't believe those people can't be there for me in the hard times too. But that's some lessons that I've really had to learn myself. And my boundaries have really had to strengthen as well, because again, when your life shifts and you've got a lot of things going on, now you don't have as much time, and you have to value that time more now, because you are trying to sort of like get your shit together basically, and your kids are more important, like more things come as a priority. And I think the people that don't understand that will fade away. They will come out of your life whether you like it or not, and sometimes it's for the best. Honestly, like I've had that happen several times. But amazing people have walked into my life too that are positive, and it's because my attitude has changed and I'm in a growth mindset too. And I need people around me who are like that. Family is a little bit harder because you can't always change that, but definitely working around that and not being around people that are negative all the time. Like if they bring you down and they're negative to you, you really gotta have to kind of watch that, because again, it's like what you're listening to, like radio, music, TV, people in your family, your friends, like it's all coming in, right? And if you let that come in, those tapes can sit there and they become you as well, right? So you gotta be careful sort of who you surround yourself and what you're surrounding yourself with too.
Definitely, boundaries is very important. I remember I read that book. Well, I didn't finish, but I started reading the book Boundaries, and it was like making sense. Like, I go to bed at 10 o'clock. You call me after that, it better be important, or I'm
Yeah.
not gonna answer the phone.
Right.
Like, I get up early, so like I have like a kind of a routine, and people know that. Like, I don't really, like, I don't care how you feel. Like, people was like, we had a Christmas play at school, and I was like, I got something to do. I can't stay and do that and then miss out on the opportunity for something I love to do. Not saying that I
Right.
don't love the kids, but it's like, this is something that I already had planned. This is what I'm going to do. Y'all can feel whatever kind of way you want. I
Yeah.
don't feel no kind of way. It's not mandatory. Hey, see you later. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Like, people think that you got to do stuff because they do it. No, I don't got to. I don't got to do nothing I don't want to do, because I
Right.
have boundaries, and I set those boundaries, and I let people know, like, I ain't really talking on the phone to you if we having small talk. Like, I don't got time in the day to just be, hey, let's talk on the phone for a couple. No, I don't think so. And
Yeah.
you lose friends, and you lose, especially when you have kids. Like, if your friends don't have kids, they might not understand. Like, I can't just be like, oh yeah, I can come. If my son come, hey dad, I want to go here. Well, sorry fellas, I can't hang out with you. I gotta go take little man wherever he need to go. Like, my
Right.
kids come before that, and people don't understand. And like you said, like, you lose people that you thought were going to be there forever, but then you gain people, and those people are there to help you for the long run. Sometimes relationships can only get you so far, and you got
Right.
to accept that. If you don't accept that, then you'll stay with that person, and you'll miss out on your blessings because you want to be tight with this person, but you ain't making no more money. You're not growing. Nothing's happening that's benefiting you with this person or this relationship. But you want to, oh, well, we've been friends since we've been tight. Okay, y'all been
Right.
tight that long, but don't you want to make some money? Don't you
Right.
want to be a better person? Don't you want to do these different things in life? You got to let those relationships go. And I think when people have boundaries, they'll get it. It's like when you have a house, you want to have a fence. You don't want everybody walking in your grass and all that. You want to
Yeah.
have boundaries. You have
Yeah.
boundaries in your life. And that's part of life, and that's part of growing, because people, you know, people don't have that. And I see people of all ages just like, you just let people walk in your life like that? No, I don't do that. Like, and it's hard for people to understand that. It's hard for people to get that. And like you've been saying the whole time, it's about the mental. Like,
Hmm.
whatever you're putting in is gonna do your mental. It's like when we were kids, and whatever movie we watched the movie 1,000 times because we wanted to be whatever person was in that movie.
Yeah.
We could recite the movie. Just like in life, you got to put positive things so you can recite that movie in your brain. That's why you do affirmations, positive affirmations. So
Right.
it all ties into, I was talking to myself about it. It all ties into when we were kids. Everything that we did there, you got to kind of do it as an adult, and things will get better, I guess. That's how
Right. And with the people, like it's like you said, with the boundaries and stuff, it's respect, right? Like I think people are going to start respecting you when you actually have those boundaries in place. They'll test you at first. Like I know definitely people who start putting boundaries in their life when they never have had anything in there at all. You're going to get pushback, and you got to expect that from people, whether it be relationship, friendships, family, your kids. That's another one too, because
Hmm.
again, mom has to work now, so it's kind of different from being stay at home life, like even though I do work from home, but they have to understand as well, and they do push back as well. But boundaries is a big one. And the thing that crossed my mind when we were talking about like people coming in and out of your life, and like I said, expecting sort of to be with somebody, whether you're in a relationship, your relationship or your marriage has ended, or somebody has passed away, or friends have come in and out of your life. People are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I definitely believe that strongly. And as much as sometimes it really sucks, and you think about like, how does this happen to me? Like, if you get into that notion, you're not going to learn the lessons in between, because that person may have come into your life for a reason to teach you something or give you something. Like, I have two boys from obviously my marriage, and I'm so grateful for that. And that is maybe a reason for me to kind of push forward and do what I need to do now.
Yep. I felt the same way so my daughter, she was here before my son. She's not my biological daughter, but she's like my daughter. But it's different when you see that little person that you created come out the womb and you
Mini
looking at
me.
him. Yeah, and you're like, okay, this little dude depends on me. So I got to do something different than I've been doing.
Yeah.
And when you realize that, you do lose friends or like, it's so funny when I have my son. Hey, what you doing this weekend? I got my son. Why y'all never ask when I don't got him? And so now it's like when they ask, it's like I don't really want to go out because y'all only ask when I got him. So even on the weekends that I don't, it's so funny. My friend, she'd be like, I don't know why we tell you about stuff. You're not gonna come. You right. I'm glad you understand that because I'm not spending money. I'm not coming out. None of that. I don't.
Yeah.
That's not me no more. And I have that boundary. And like you said, it's respect. Like they ain't gonna be like, oh, you don't want to go out, or oh man, he don't hang out with us no more. No, I just don't go to those places with you guys no more. If y'all want to sit at the house, we can play cards, watch
Yeah.
the game, chit chat, talk about business, something. I'm down with that. But spending money to hang around people that's silly and then you possibly could be in the wrong place at the wrong time,
Yeah.
I'm good. I like to stay at home and be safe.
So what you're doing is you're leveling up basically, and you're saying, respect me, I'm here, like, and they gotta, they kind of have to understand that about you, right? Or they dissipate. That's exactly what usually happens, right? It's like they'll push and push to see if they can kind of get you to knock down a few, but it doesn't happen like that. And I think it makes us a stronger person. I think the things that we go through, and everyone has a story. And I don't think people realize, like, when you go out into the world, I think a lot of people look at certain people and say, like, oh, they probably have it good, or look at them. And I think people think other people's lives are better than theirs. But when you actually sit and talk to somebody, you're like, oh my God, like, you hear so many different stories. And I know better because I've spoken to so many different people all over the world in my business and just heard so many different stories that like, there's so many inspirational people out there, and people are sort of looking at other people thinking, oh, you got it better.
Yeah, and it's the craziest thing because just because you see certain stuff on social media, oh, they probably no. It don't matter how much money you have. It don't matter where you're at. Because think about it, it's a lot of rich people that we see or celebrities. They commit suicide. They're not happy. Life isn't always peaches and cream just because you got money. Like kids nowadays, they think, oh, because you got money, you real. No, you could be lame and have money. You could be
Yeah.
a cornball and have money. Like just
Hmm.
because you got money don't mean that. I mean that changes, the opportunities and the different things that you have that you can do, but it doesn't change who you are on the inside. It's just like when women get surgery. Okay, you got the surgery, your body look better, but do the inside look better? Do your character look better? If your
Yeah.
character don't look better, you're still that same evil person before you had the big butt or the big
Yeah.
breast. So it's
Yeah.
just people got to understand that like you have to. It's all about working on the inside and
Yeah.
then being able to understand about what you want to deal with on the outside. Like you said, when you level up, like people, it's like I don't care if you mad. Like I really don't care if a person's mad because it's my life. Like if I don't put in these hours, if I don't do this, then I can't get to the level that I want to. If I hang out with you, is that going to help me to move forward? If it's not,
Hmm.
I can't hang out with you like that no more. And people just got to understand that. And once they understand that, they become a better person overall. They don't sit around and wait. Because when you
Hmm.
sit around and wait for your friend to get on, you're gonna miss your opportunity of getting on.
Right.
Or it's like in basketball. I'm gonna just keep passing you the ball. I know I'm wide open. I ain't gonna shoot. I'm gonna just when you
Yeah.
gonna shoot. When you gonna take the opportunity for yourself. And that's kind of how life is when you don't have boundaries. You waiting on somebody else. But when you have boundaries, you understand I got to do X amount of things to get me to this point. Because if I don't, then I won't be able to be who I want to be.
No one's going to do it for you, and that no one's going to live your life for you. You were given certain things in your life for a reason. That's how I believe it. And you can take it however you want. People can look at you and say, oh, you're lucky because of this or that. And I think we've put so much emphasis in definitely the Western world, that money and looks are everything. And they are not. Like, you could be the worst person in the world, have the shittiest relationship, and have money or look good or whatever. Like, I can tell you so many people I know that have a lot of money or look amazing, but they have a terrible life, So it starts from the inside. And I think a lot of people don't emphasize that enough, just because of the society that we're in. We're all social media based, all this kind of stuff. But I think it's the adversity and like you said, the underdog and the people that have struggled throughout their life, whether, young, teenagers, adulthood, they've gone through something, they've made themselves a better person on the inside for it.
Yeah, definitely. Like I like what you said like a little minute ago about everybody having a story. That's why I have underdog talk, because I've heard all kinds of stories. I've heard of a lady dying and coming back. I've talked to people that might be just working a 9 to 5 and starting off in a business, to people that make multi-million dollars, and everybody has a different story or overcame something different, because it's about we're all underdogs. There's always somebody that thinks you can't do it because, oh, you can't do it because your mom and dad had the money, or you can't do it because you come from here, or whatever. We all can do whatever we want. And that's why the purpose of the show, I'm an underdog because I was born an underdog. Like, I was born with a situation that I had to overcome. And like, if I can do that, I'm sure anybody can overcome. Or it's like whatever you overcame, like you overcame being a widow. So anything else that comes in front of you, oh, I don't give a shit. Come on. I'm gonna knock you out. What you want to do? I didn't overcame this. Yeah, come on, bring it on. And I think people don't realize. I heard Steve Harvey say it. I ain't gonna take credit for it, but he was like, everybody has 100% track record on a bad day. We've all got through all our bad days. So what is a bad day if it happens tomorrow that we have a bad day? You know you're gonna get through it. You just can't allow that bad day to become a bad week, a bad month, a bad year, because we all go through shit. Everybody. Like, I was talking to a friend and I was like, I have pain every day, which I do, in my neck, in my arms, and my shoulders. Nobody knows that. I don't go to work and be like, oh, I'm hurting, I can't go. I fight through it. Yeah. Because I have to. Because if I don't, well, I'm gonna just stay at home because my shoulder hurt a little bit. No, I gotta go impact the world. I can't stop because of a little pain. And that's how people have to be. Like, you can't stop because of a little pain. Now, some pain is bigger than others, because you lose somebody you love, maybe you get sick or whatever the case may be. That's different than, maybe you losing a job. You lose a loved one, lose a job. You can get a job the next day. You can't get that loved one back. So it's a little different, but you can't allow that to stop you, because if it stopped you, it's going to stop your kids, and then it'll stop their kids, and it'll keep going. And people don't realize who you are as a person affects the generations after you. And I don't think we think about that.
I think a lot of people just live their life day to day, and they're just getting by. They're just surviving. And that's all I hear from people is, I'm just surviving. And not a lot of people are living in a life where they feel like they're actually thriving. And like I said, I think there's too much emphasis on the exterior, money, all that. Like, yes, it gets you resources, but you can also be a very wealthy person in a different country. Like, if you kind of go there, so it's just, I think, what we have in the Western society, and everything just seems to cost so much and be so much. And it's just this, like, peacocking that's going on, with a lot of people and stuff. And like, I have this and I have that. And a lot of it's fake. It sucks. It's fake. And I think that's also made people more depressed. I don't know if you've noticed, but like, if people go on social media and stuff like that, they feel like they're not like competent anymore. Like, oh, I'm a bad mom, or I'm a bad dad, or I suck at my business, or this or that. And again, it's kind of like watching those negative shows and stuff too. It's like you're looking at things that you're comparing yourself to that aren't even real.
Yep. People, like, comparison take away your joy. Like, you looking at somebody else, but when you really look at like these successful people, if you go back to their first couple of videos, you'll notice where they started. Like Amazon, they started in a garage. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I don't understand where people be like, oh, well, I'm not where you're not supposed to, it's not supposed to happen for you just yet. Yeah. You got to go through all the hurdles, all the jumps, all the hoops to get to where these people are. Like, people think Steph Curry just woke up one day and he just can shoot that good. No, he went to the gym. It's not because his dad's an NBA player. He went to the gym and put in the work. LeBron,
Yeah.
like anybody that does anything that's up here, they didn't just wake up one day, oh, I'm super smart. Bill Gates didn't just wake up and was like, well, I'm going to create a computer. This is
Yeah.
what I had a dream about this last night. No, he put in work and he had to go through different things. We all start somewhere. We start somewhere, and you have to trust the process. Give you an example. I hoop. I'm good. I'm a coach. My son's in third grade, and I'm just thinking in my head, oh, I know buddy going. Nope, he's in third grade. He just started playing competitive basketball. He doesn't know exactly what he's doing all the way. I can't be like, man, you need to be better. Da, da, da. No, it's a process, and I'm learning it's a process, and I'm seeing it. It's like, all right. He was scoring kind of every game. Now he's scoring multiple points. Now, one game he showed out. Oh, okay, I can see the growth, and it's better to see the growth than it is for him to just have came out and just been able to do everything. And people don't understand it's about the process. It's not about the results. You get better in the process. You don't get better at the end results.
Definitely. I think a lot of people don't realize like there's a lot of hard work involved, like working on yourself. Either people sometimes don't want to do it because they're like, that's too hard. I just want to live, my day-to-day life and just sort of forget about it. And that's where people zone out. TV, like games, all that stuff, like addictions, everything involved. Like, it's just, I want to numb myself because I don't feel like I fit in or I can compete sort of with this world. But like I said, it takes a really strong person to kind of like look at themselves and think like, I feel like I should be better than this. Like, I definitely want to push myself to be the best version I can be. And it takes a lot of work and dedication, but you're not just helping yourself, you're helping the people behind you, which is your kids. If you are a parent, right? Like, you are the example and they're seeing it and they're going to be like you, so you'll be careful because these people are like mirrors to you.
Listen, my son is a little me for real. I seen him. We were at the barbershop the other day, and he was telling the barber, it's a lady barber that was cutting our hair. He was like, yeah, I'm a ladies man and all this. And I'm like, yeah, that's my son. And like one time somebody was like, oh, you always eating. He's like, well, I get it from my dad. And I'm like, I understand what you're saying with the mirror, because it's like the music we listen to or the language we listen to is like my daughter she know I listen to the same sort of music as her, but when she in the car with me or she around me, she ain't gonna listen to particular music because out of respect, like, you still my dad, even though you cool, I'm still gonna respect you because I've taught her that, like, it's certain stuff, like when you around me and your mom, you can't talk a certain way, you ain't that grown yet, because like people now, like, oh, you cuss when you talk to your mom? Yeah, I'm grown. Like, I mean, not
I'm a big boy
understanding.
now.
I got my own kids. Like,
Yeah.
it's like what she's gonna say. Like, I'm gonna get a whooping because I'm using cuss words. Like, that's who I am.
Yeah.
And I had to realize, like, people have to realize, be you.
Yeah.
Just be. It don't matter who you are, how you look. Everybody ain't like Jesus. Everybody's not gonna like you. But just be yourself. I think everything we talked about, the main thing really is to, like, be who you are. I like, through our conversation, we're saying the same thing, but you're presenting it a certain way and I'm presenting it a certain way because we're being ourselves. But it's the same goal. It's the same thing that we're talking about. And certain people are gonna be like, oh, I get what she's saying. Oh, I get what he's saying. And we're being ourselves. And when you're yourself, that's when boundaries come. That's when you're able to be like, man, I'm grateful for that I'm able to do this or I'm able to do that, because you're able to understand yourself. You're able to sit at home and enjoy yourself when you're yourself. When you're trying to be like people on social media and there's nobody around, you boring because you're not yourself. And that's just how it is. You could get the boobs, you could get, the booty, all that stuff. But then when you sitting at home and you by yourself, nobody's around.
No one's around. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
I like what you said. I think it was before we got on, against all odds. So there's some moms that are against odds right now. What is like 3 tips you could give them, not moms or dads, anybody, because I think anybody would love to listen to this episode, that are against odds, their back is against the wall, what are like 3 things when they listen to this episode are some practical tips that they can do?
What kind of situations are they in typically?
It could be they lost their job. It could be they might have lost a loved one the way the world is these days. Just anything really, just where that particular person feels like their back is against the wall. Because sometimes our back isn't really against the wall. It's our mind that makes us think.
Yeah. I think a big thing, like I said, is you got to stay grateful, because if you start being ungrateful in those times, you're going to really pull yourself down into a worse place than you already are. So I think with things like you've lost a job, I would say, like, if you have somebody in your life and you're like, okay, well, at least I have somebody in my life that has my back, or I still have a house, or maybe the government's helping me or something, like I still have something. Or my kids, even if you have to move in or something like that with another person, I still have my kids and my laughter and stuff at the end of the day. So gratitude is a big one. Number 2, I think you really need to work on like your self-esteem, because that's going to help you motivate you to get a job, get your head out your butt, basically. If you're lying in bed and you're like, oh, I'm depressed, my life sucks and things aren't going the way I want it to, really work on that. And I think that's the affirmations I talked about, getting yourself like motivated, because you need to get up and be like, I need to get a job, or like, I don't even think I really spent much time, or any time at least, like laying in bed being depressed. Like grief, yeah, definitely takes you there. But I think it put a fire in me to want to work on myself more than anything. So I think that was a big one in terms of affirmations. The third one I'd say comes to my mind is like, be kind to yourself. Like we talked about it. Like, I think there is such a strive for perfection, and, oh, my life doesn't look like this. And again, you go out into the public and think, how is everyone else like living this like amazing life? I know for myself, when I sort of went out into the public, probably following a few months after, it was almost like I said to myself in my head, like, how is the world still going? Like, I feel like my world has been turned upside down, and I'm in so much uncertainty now with like my long-term like finances, like everything, like what the hell am I going to do? And everyone's just sort of living their life around you. I think you really got to give yourself a bit of love and respect and care, because it's not easy to go through something really drastic. If, say, like there's an accident and you've lost somebody, you lost your job, like just click, and that's it. And if you're with a spouse or somebody that has, let's say, been fired, lost their job, like love and respect them. Like, don't put them down. You know what I mean? Like, bring them up too, like, because they're not going to feel good about themselves either. So it goes both ways. And, if there's somebody in your life that's kind of being in a negative, I guess, way, using the gratitude affirmations and like love, just put it onto them, like give them that love, be grateful around them, and honestly, you'll bring more of that around you too. So it doesn't mean to say that, like, just because you're trying to be positive, the person next to you isn't being positive. Like, if you continue to be positive, they're going to start to pick up on that and actually start to like, be like, hey, like, your life seems to be a lot better than mine, and you're, getting, work or whatever it is. Like, what are you doing differently? So they'll start to question that too, right?
Yep, definitely. So what I heard is love yourself, speak to yourself kindly, and have grace upon yourself. I don't think we don't give great, like you said, we're hard on ourselves. Oh, I should be further off, or this and that.
Yeah.
Because we go and we look and we see somebody else, or, oh, they got it that way. We don't know what they go through. And like you said, I think I became that positive person. I go through stuff. I really don't talk about it to everybody, but just people around me, like, you always positive or you always optimistic. It's like,
what's wrong with you?
It's like, why would we think negative? I have negative thoughts, and I have some of the craziest negative thoughts, and they'd be like, what the heck? But it's like, I know the positive is going to happen, because the positive comes when you put in that work on yourself, when you love on yourself, when you show gratitude to yourself. And like you said, when you love on yourself, you'll love on other people, because you'll remember what it was like when no one loved you.
Right.
because a lot of times people don't love their self enough to understand what love really is. Because you don't love yourself, you get in a relationship. Oh, this person's supposed to do this, and they're not supposed to do nothing but love themselves. They're
Yeah.
supposed to be happy with them. You're supposed to be happy, and you guys meet, and boom, there you go. Because if you expect somebody else to make you happy, you in for a long haul. You might as well go on back to where you was at and go lay down in the bed.
Yeah.
But I like what you said about self-esteem. You have to work on that because you can't compare yourself to anybody but yourself. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to, then you're like, all right, let me get my shit together. Rather than me looking at you like, oh, well, she started when I started. Why is she further off? How's her business doing? I don't know why your business doing that. But hey, let me ask you some questions to help me to get to where I'm at, rather than me look at her. She thinks she all that. No, hey, how did you get there? What did you do? That's what
Yeah.
people don't get. Ask the questions instead of being jealous or being hateful towards somebody. Ask them how they got there. Because 9 times out of 10, if somebody went through something, they're going to help somebody else. They might not give you the full game because it costs money to get game from people.
Yeah.
But they'll give you something to at least help the needle move. And I love that, like what you said about the self-esteem, because it takes a lot to work on your self-esteem and love on yourself. So I don't know if you have a personal quote, if you got a tattoo or anything. But, I need a quote from you.
I don't think I don't have a tattoo, but I think I just go back to like what my mission is in my business and what has been my own personal life is a healthy family starts with a healthy parent. Because if you don't look after you, like no one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to make you happy. Like no one else is going to love you. You got to do it for yourself.
I love that. I love that because it's not a happy wife is a happy life.
No.
It's a happy family. Is a healthy family is a healthy parent. That's so true. And it don't just mean in health. It means in your mental and your spiritual and all that. Like you have to be healthy all around, because if you're not healthy, your kid won't be healthy. And then you'll wonder why your kid's doing all this crazy stuff, because you're doing crazy stuff and as an adult.
It's taking responsibility at the end of the day for yourself instead of focusing on the other people, which a lot of people do.
Definitely. So I love this conversation. I love the you being you, me being me. We get different views, but it ties up together. Definitely appreciate everything that you do of helping people, because helping and serving people looks different for everybody. We all got our own gifts and everybody does it in their own way, but we still are here to serve people and help people. So appreciate you for everything that you do. Tell the listeners how they can reach you, how they can find you on social media.
Yeah, sure. So pretty much everything's on my website. So www.ndelish.com. Everything's there, all my social media and stuff. And yeah, reach out to me if you want to chat. So
yep. And I'll have her link in the show notes. That was funny because you said www. I'm like, huh? What? I'm like, oh, yeah, that sounds cooler than www.
that's what I was waiting for, because I know you said www too.
Yeah, I sound old. Like people, what? No, you just type stuff in and .com nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sound old with that. But again, I appreciate you. I appreciate your connection with Christian. We had a great conversation. Had a great conversation with you. I'll tell you when your episode and all that'll drop after we get out. So do you have any closing words?
Just like I said, be yourself. Take basically accountability for you, and like that's where it starts. It's at the end of the day, it starts with you.
And on that note, peace, one love. I'm the underdog with the heroic heart. I'm Eric Jones Jr. I have to keep pushing for my kids. If I give up, what's that leave them with? Nothing. I have to understand that it's bigger than me. That it's not about me when I wake up and go to work. It's not about me when I'm reading to educate myself. It's not about me when I'm practicing my speeches. It's not about me. It's about my family.